Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. Today, it is myself, Garrick Loewen, here with the one and only Nicole Falcaro.
Hey guys.
Did I say that right? It's Falcaro, right?
So I say Falcaro, but it's technically Falcaro.
Okay, well, it's your name, so you get to go by it.
Yeah.
So Nicole it's been a while since we had you on here. You're coming on as co-host this week because basically everyone is in Vancouver, PTO Vancouver, and Nick had to cancel last second. Well, you were coming on with me and Nick anyways,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you stepping in as a guest co-host. We always like having you on the show. We had you on, like I said previously, we did a great episode on time management. For those who don't know, Nicole is one of the premier professional triathletes with a full-time real corporate job. She works for what you work for that same bank that Barney Stinson works for, right?
I don't know who Barney is, but I'm basically the Justin Reilly of triathlon, except I'm not as fast as him, and I probably don't make as much money because I don't drive a nice fancy cars.
Well, maybe you just live in a more expensive place.
I may, yeah, actually, I think East Coast real estate versus Nevada, Vegas area, Henderson. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more expensive where you are. But Barney Stinson is from How I Met Your Mother, and he works for Goliath National Bank.
That's not a real bank, right?
No.
It's just like they made it up. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like, what do you do? Like, no, he won't tell anyone what he does until they find out that he works for like the worst bank, like the evil bank.
Yeah. That would probably be Chase, I think they're trying to allude to. But I work at Citi. It's way better.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Also, I bank with Chase.
I do too.
Because
And I bank with
oh,
a
yeah.
lot, I bank with a lot of banks because I like to have a login so I can see what other banks are doing in a digital space because I work in digital.
Mm,
So I like to see what their apps can do and how they operate, and see what the website servicing options are. So yeah, I do a bit of secret
yeah,
shopping.
nice. They were when I moved to the States and I didn't have a ITIN. They were the first. They were the one bank that I was able to sign up with.
Mm,
So,
nice.
but we got some stuff to talk about, not just banking. I know people love talking about banking and that kind of stuff, but
I know
we
people
had,
are love the bank talk on this
yeah,
podcast.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But yeah, so Eagleman 70.3 happened on the weekend. There was some drama involved with that, but we had a lot of RTS athletes racing. We had the notable finishers were Lisa and Jack, who both took fifth place, and then a big breakthrough race from Amanda Makuba, who finished 10th. So 10th in a Pro Series race. I think she was maybe one spot off getting her world champ slot, which, so close. She was so close there. Yeah. And Greg Harper leading out of the water. And myself, I raced as well, and I jogged home for 21st.
Yeah, but Garrick, you did an Ironman a week before. Can you tell us, what do your legs feel like?
Yeah. So, well, now they feel fine. Now, so we're recording this as Wednesday night. I did an hour bike ride. They feel okay. I think the big reason they're feeling okay now is because I didn't run very hard. Uh, Not, this is not chronological, but 5K into the run, I went through 5K in just over 20 minutes. It was like 20 or something like that. And I realized there, and I ran decently hard off the bike, and I realized there, I was like, okay, I really don't have it today. So I just jogged the rest of the run. But
Okay.
it's funny because the whole week I didn't do any sort of recovering very well. So basically what happened was raced on Sunday, Ironman Brazil. We flew home Monday night, got into Windsor 9:30, stopped into work in the morning. Uh, I didn't work, but I stopped into work for a couple hours.
But wait,
Christian
so you
listens to
flew
this.
overnight
Yeah, we
and
flew
arrived at
overnight
9:30 a.m.
and arrived at 9:30 a.m. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Stop
okay.
just stopped into work just to, check in and stuff for a couple hours. And then Wednesday went to work. Like I swam in the morning on Wednesday. Was feeling awful, like so sore. Just the first Ironman of the year, you're so sore after, right? Like doesn't matter.
Mhm.
You did your 2 hour long runs, you're still sore.
Yeah.
But then I biked in the afternoon, and then I was feeling okay. Still wasn't planning on racing, right? Took Thursday off. I drove 10 hours to Maryland. Uh, yeah, alone,
Yeah.
solo the whole
Oh
time.
man.
Was supposed to meet Lisa at the airport in Baltimore, but I was a few minutes late, so she decided to get an Uber.
Right. Her
And
expensive Uber. I heard that on the
yeah,
last
they're like
podcast. I listen to every
$200 Ubers.
podcast.
Yeah, you are the biggest fan, and we know. And that's why we try to get you on the podcast as much as we can. Try to get you in the cycle.
Right. I could like provide so much continuity because I'm like totally up to date on anything you've talked about.
I know it's great.
Yeah. But back to
Uh,
you. So how did your
yeah.
performance feel after all this
So
sitting?
so the whole time, so this is kind of the mindset that I was in was that I'm not racing. I
Oh,
and so the whole week, like I wasn't doing anything special. I wasn't eating great, but like I was what I would normally do to recover from an Ironman. Like I was 2+ grams of protein per kilo every day, stuff like that. But I'm still eating like garbage, like not pizza every night. Sorry, ice cream every night, pizza, like fried chicken. Like I'm just not not like particularly great. And then I'm kind of jumping into workouts with the guys, like with everyone when I got there. Still not thinking I'm racing. And then I went to check in, and basically what happened was the whole time this was just snowballing, and I was just going through the motions to the point that I was found myself on the start line. And I'm just like, and there was a second when I was on the start line, and I was just joking around, like having a good time this whole time. Like everyone was joking around the start line. It was so relaxed and chill. Like Greg was like being secretive and like snaking his way through the water, hiding from Ben Canute. And there was like a joke. And like, there's a guy on the start line who's like, how long do you think I can run with everyone in the swim? Like, we're just joking around. And then the gun goes off. None of us were ready. The gun goes off and we go. I have the swim of my life, not swim of my life, but a very good swim. One of my best 70.3 swims. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get on the bike here and see how it feels. And I go out and I start biking. And every 10K, I'm like, you can just shut it down the next 10K. You can just shut it down the next 10K. And I think in my head that I am riding so hard. Like it feels so hard. I'm riding like as hard as I can. And I'm like, wow, I am having a great ride right now. Come to find out, it's the lowest power I've ever done in a 70.3.
did you not have your power showing? Did I miss that?
Well, no, I had it showing, but like for some reason, I found that my bike computer has a very big bias towards the higher power numbers in the
Oh,
moment, or at least the way I register it. So like when stuff's popping up, I'm like, holy cow, I'm riding 330, 340 watts. Like I'm doing this is like, I'm doing great. And then come to find out I averaged like 290 watts or something
wait,
on
do
the
you do that
bike.
thing where you'll like only look at your power if you like it feels kind of good? Or like you'll kind of like increase it a little bit and then you'll look?
If I'm like, I'll look if I think I'm going hard.
Yeah.
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 I've totally done that and have had like very big surprises that way. And I actually work
Yeah.
with a mental performance coach who was like, "Okay, if this is like she's like you should if you want to be honest with yourself, then you need to like have it split every 5 minutes or 10 minutes and like
Mm,
enable yourself to like so that you're not lying to yourself." And then
that's
obviously
smart.
went into like, why do you think you do that? Why do you think you only look when it's good? And it's like cuz you almost don't want to know.
Yeah. Like
So,
first, I don't have average power on my bike computer. I just never had it
mm,
and I've just never put it on. But I think I might
yeah.
start doing that now. But yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the flattest race. I had 5 meters of elevation gain on the bike. and I was biking with this group, and I was hanging on for dear life. It was Nicholas Gilbert, who is a very good cyclist, very underrated just because his swim's not quite there, but the man can bike. Like, he's probably one of the strongest cyclists that people have never heard of. And I'm just
Uh-huh.
hanging on, man, like just dying. But I was third wheel, so it was
Mm.
like I wasn't actually pushing that hard, but I thought I really was. And then we hit a bumpy section, dropped my chain. So then the last 15K, yeah, or 18K, I rode totally solo because I had to get off, put my chain on. I lost 2 minutes to them in the last 18K.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was
Um,
it like so like one of your fastest bike course, like 56 miles because of the draft or
it was
and the
definitely
flatness?
one of the faster ones. Yeah. Like I would say it was probably a good 4 minutes slower than I would have biked. Because I think,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like at least 2 minutes, right? If I would have biked with that group. But yeah, but it was just the perception of the power. Like, and I think what would
Right.
have happened is I would have, even if I would have biked with that group, if I only did 290 watts, first of all, I would have done work on the group if I had good legs. And second,
Yeah.
if I biked only 290 watts, which normally I do, like my worst ever 70.3 before that was like 319 I did in Tremblant last year. And then I had the best run ever, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, sorry, the lowest power I've done on that power meter. So I try not to compare power meters, but
Mm-hmm.
and I had like my best run. So I think I would have had a great run. But I also at the end of the bike, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna drop out, like there's no sense in running a half marathon. I did a marathon last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but it was so hectic in transition that I just instinctively put all my run stuff on and started running. And I didn't realize that I was doing it, like I said, until 5K. and, then-
Oh my gosh.
and I ran pretty hard. Like I looked at my heart rate, like it was pretty high to start. And then I was like, my legs were just so done. Like just not sore, but like there was just no pop. They were so flat. It was like I was running and like it felt like I was just doing an Ironman run. Just so flat.
Yeah. So after I
Uh,
asked about your like how did your legs feel, I immediately wish I had asked like just how was your brain fog? Like I remember it took me like I felt like the dumbest person at work for like 2 weeks after my most recent and first ever Ironman. So like I feel like you just had like a brain fog the whole race because that's why you went and did the run.
yeah,
You
like
found
it doesn't
yourself on the
even
start line.
and it doesn't even feel like I raced. Like I did it and like I don't remember a lot of the race, not because like I was so hard or anything like that, but yeah, it was just like I was just constantly I was kind of just in a fog, just like doing the whole race like by instinct almost. So um,
Right.
yeah, yeah, it was just like instinctual, and my legs feel good now. It feels fine. Honestly, it was probably good that I did run because I decided to drive home that night. There was a ton of traffic. I didn't get home till like 1:30, so I didn't train the next day. Where my original plan while I was biking was I'm just gonna go do a long run the next day, like a not long, but like maybe do 20K the next day easy, as opposed to like a steady effort like I did. Uh, so yeah, it all worked out just fine.
Yeah. What are you signed up for anything at all right now? Are you like on your mid-season break?
No, next will be Challenge Roth, and then I'll take my
Oh,
mid-season
that's
break.
right. I know
Yeah,
that. I just put your name on there. Okay.
so
Awesome.
very excited for that. But Nicole, you've done this race, and
Yes, I
one
did this
thing,
race in
yeah,
2018. It was my first year pro.
wow. So first pro race, first year pro or first pro
First
race?
year pro. Might have been like my third
Okay,
pro race ever because it's pretty early. Um,
yeah. And so accommodations are quite the story here.
yeah, so I had to stay. I was in one of those motels that are like 45 minutes away that are kind of affordable. And it was like, it was so sketchy. Like they look sketchy. And I remember like they smelled like cigarette smoke. And they're the kind where you enter from a key on the outside and there's like, like a whole like upper level, like port, I don't know, not porch, but just
Yep.
like the
Yeah,
hallway.
yeah.
And there were people of like all hours of the night, outside in the parking lot. Yeah, I recall not sleep. You don't sleep great the night before anyway, but I remember like actually feeling a little bit unsafe. So, yeah.
Yeah.
This race was is pretty traumatic for me because it was the only race where I cramped so bad that I really didn't know if I could run because the bike is so flat that you use the same muscles the whole time and there's no like reprieve, there's no kick in the pants to like go up a hill. There's just it's just all the same. So I feel like even though it's kind of a drivable race for me, I think it's also about 8 or 9 hour drive. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah. It's true. Like you hold that arrow position. This was actually my first Ironman in this
Oh,
race. And you're holding that position for so long. When a turn comes, you're so happy because you're like, oh, I get to sit up.
yeah, the
It's like,
turns are the only time you have any kind of change. But you guys stayed in the house this time
yeah,
together.
so we stayed in a
How's that?
great house. Um, we, it was far. It was very far. It was also about 45 minutes away. So the race start for this race, absolutely ridiculous. 5:45 a.m. And that
Oof.
is just a ridiculous time to start a race, especially if you're broadcasting, because
Yeah.
5:45 a.m. on the East Coast, which means on the West Coast it's 2:45 a.m. So nobody on a Sunday morning. So nobody is watching this race.
And the bike's so fast. I woke up early for me. I think I woke up at like 8:45 and everyone was already running. I was like, I guess I'll watch this run and then I'll sort my workout. But yeah. And especially if you're coming from the West Coast, I think you guys said this in the last podcast, but like coming if you're coming from the West Coast too, and you gotta like adjust to the time zone and wake up early, oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
And the water,
Uh,
I know I'm changing topics a bit, but it made me think of
yeah.
New York City Triathlon because you guys also referenced that having an early start. The water, I think, is just as dirty.
Oh, it's
What did you think?
yeah.
Did you have like a film on your face?
I didn't have it. I got stung a couple jellyfish stings, but it was
Oh my
nothing like
God.
major or anything like that. But I know Nicole is terrified of jellies.
Yeah. Anything in the water that has stinging ability, ugh, no thank you.
Yeah. On the start line, I was like walking back and I stepped on something that moved. And I immediately thought of Nicole and I was like, oh, this is what
Oh,
happened to her. But it was probably a crab that I stepped on, not like a stingray.
yeah, those Maryland crabs that they're known for, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, but this race is an experience. It's not one of those
Yeah.
races that I'm like, yeah, you got to do this race, man. It's like if it works out, you can do it. It might be favorable for you if it's a flat course, but
Right.
it's usually hot. It's very humid. The swim is choppy and it's against the current, and uh, yeah, it can be windy, and it's like accommodations are really expensive, or
Yeah.
you got to do it really early, or you stay really far and you got to wake up at 2:45. We had to catch the shuttle at 4:15 a.m. to get into transition, but we made a mistake. We got up so early. We got there because the pros went off at 5:45, right, and everyone else went
Uh-huh.
off at 6. We could have gotten street parking right next to transition, but instead we stayed. We parked and took the pro shuttle in. And I
Uh-huh.
think if you're up early enough, there's just tons of street parking. Like we would have been just fine.
I do recall street parking. Yeah, the only
Yeah.
time. But it's, hey, good on you for trying to reduce the congestion and taking the shuttle. That's karma
Yeah,
points.
exactly. And then we biked back. It was 3K back. We biked back, shook out our legs. So it was good.
Yeah.
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 And
Hey, you said something that I wanted to, I feel like you were a bit hard on yourself. You're talking about how like you were eating junk all week, but I feel like when you're in that kind of calorie deficit, that you have to eat whatever sounds good. and as much as so that you can eat as many calories as you can. And I think that goes for even during Ironman training too. Like, I feel like there's no way you're going to meet your caloric needs if you are only eating fruits and vegetables. Like, I
That's
think
so
you have
true.
to hit the ice cream. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's so true. On so many levels. I guess the way with you having said that, kind of putting me in my place, I would say that the only thing I would do is maybe focus on my macros a bit more. Like I know I said that I was getting that 2+ grams of protein per
Mm.
kilo, but I think what I would do is maybe focus a bit more on the carbs as well, where I was pretty much just eating fried chicken and stuff. Like
Uh-huh.
I guess ice cream has carbs and stuff, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't think I ate a vegetable. I drank a lot of beer. Uh,
Nice.
which is carbs too, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, don't be like me if you are racing. I'm pretty sure I drank like I flew a red eye and you're sleeping in a chair, right? And I still had like alcohol that night. It's just like awful. But yeah. Uh so yeah, that's that. I would maybe be a little more focused. Like performance wise, I look at this race and like had I actually raced, I think I don't know, maybe I could have come fifth. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That's because
Well,
Jack came fifth.
your swimming's been like very on and off, like very inconsistent, right? So if you do make
Yeah,
that like chase pack swim, then all of a sudden you're in it on the bike.
and that's the big thing about this race is the swim is so important because if you're in it on the bike, like the group that came by me on the bike, the first group that came by me on the bike, this was the bike power. Jack was on the front, and then it was Cam Wirth, followed by Sam Long and Trevor Foley.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought I jumped on the back. Uh, so when they first came by me, it was actually just Jack and Cam, and I slotted in third, and I rode with them for like 5 minutes, and the other guys were just rolling up, and I thought I was like burying myself, like I thought it was the hardest thing ever, and I look back and it's like less than what I would normally do for an
You
Ironman,
did like
so or
300.
70.3, sorry, yeah. So I was like, it was obvious that I was kind of just shelled, but yeah, if I get into that pack and even if it gets hard near the end, that changes my whole day, right? Like
Yeah.
if you sit fourth wheel with that group, and eventually that group blew up to like 8 guys, so it would have been maybe doable, and that would have changed pretty much everything. So
Yeah.
you can always play the what if games.
Yeah. Well, and I know this actually saw a couple of other pro women, our own Lisa, who talked about the have like catching up to slower male pros on the bike. Jackie Herring's posted a story that was like a screenshot of the race and was like, "This isn't fair," meaning that the pro men who are in the back of the bike, who the pro women are catching up to, are messing up the women's race, the pro women's race. And I find it so like it immediately reminded me of how now with the future combined Kona again, how they promised a fair broadcast and a fair race, and I'm like, how are you doing that with even more firepower in like in I guess you won't have as many slow pro men, but you're gonna have more fast pro women who are grouped together on the bike who can make a charge. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the issue. So I agree with you. I think the obvious solution to this is as a pro man, and this is like I'm very sympathetic to the slower pro men, um, but I think there needs to be a hard line drawn, and that is if you get caught by the lead woman, your race is done. In
yeah,
short course, we have the lap out rule for the same reason, so that you can't slot in and affect the race. it becomes dangerous and stuff like that. You need fair racing. But I would also say before we get to that point, there needs to be a 10-minute gap between the men and the women, right?
Yeah.
Because in this race in particular, like you alluded to, Lisa talking about it, was they came out of the water with these men. It wasn't that like they rolled up on them.
Oh.
They came out of the water together. They got on the bike together and they
Oh.
all rode together.
Oh, I have not heard, I did not know that. That's not something being said in this
Yeah.
argument, which makes it even more egregious.
Yeah. Because if you look at, so Lucy swam 25:10. That puts her, she would have come out of, I don't see the, oh, she would have come out of the water like, it's like in the 26th, 27th place range of the men. Like,
Uh-huh.
and that's with the 5-minute deficit, right?
Yeah. And in a swim like
Um,
that, it's going to blow apart the men even more. And, you swallow a bunch of water, maybe need to like catch your breath, recover a
yeah,
bit.
and
Like, and I
because the
feel for
current
that.
and the current and the choppiness really slow down the slower swimmers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel like, I mean, you should have one chance to pass, and if you can't pass, it's kind of over for you. But I am sympathetic to those men, but we just can't have it affecting the women's race and affecting. It's
Mm-hmm.
one thing for like the front of the men's age group to affect the women's race, but they're affecting the back of the women's race. They're not affecting the money places, and that seems like something we can approach later, right? First, it's like let's clean up the money places, like the people that are racing for the money.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think 10 minutes. Where's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I think if it's possible, 10 minutes would make a huge difference instead of five. Um, but one thing I think is, I would love to see this. I would love to see how many men qualified for their pro card in a duathlon. Because you can still qualify.
Mm,
I looked this up. You can still qualify for your pro card if your race gets shortened to a duathlon, and you were the top three male age groupers in that race that with the minimum prize purse. So should that change? Like, are we getting a lot of incumbents come because of it who can't swim well because they didn't do duathlon? They're like score. um,
yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
I've heard a lot of also like you said like oh you get as a male pro you get one chance to repass, or if you had a mechanical but then it's like as soon as you let in these like exceptions, it's how do you enforce it, right? So
Exactly. And that's the thing. So in
it's
short
tough.
course racing, if you get a mechanical and you get lapped, it doesn't matter. You know,
Oh,
you're
you
lapped. You
just
can't unlap yourself. You're done. It's over.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. And I would just like to say this opinion is coming from a guy who got chicked at Eagleman. Technically, Lucy Charles beat me. She beat me by a few seconds.
But she didn't cross the line before you
No, 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 no.
because you started before. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, like I get it. It's like, but what I'm saying is, once you get onto the run, you're not really affecting the race. And so
Yeah, I
for
agree.
me, if the lead woman rolls up on me and I'm biking, and the ref says take your chip off, absolutely, I'm doing it. I'm taking my chip off, handing it to you, easy riding back, getting out of
Hmm.
the women's race. And I'm not saying you should lose your pro card or anything like that, because
Uh-huh.
there are a variety of factors that can affect it, right? Um, but yeah,
What
I
if that
think
was your last chance in your 3-year pro card to requalify? Tough nuts.
I think so. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
think like we need to draw a hard line, guys. This is not a participation sport for pros. There
that's
needs to
true.
be a standard, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't we don't all deserve our pro card. We've
Yep.
earned it, and we have to continue earning it to keep it, or earning it to get to the line. There should be different standards for pros.
Yeah. I want to know so much more about this, like road closure permitting and cost rule. Meaning, if we do start the pro women 10 minutes later instead of 5, and therefore you start the age groupers at, let's say, 6:05 instead of 6 o'clock, does that really, is it thousands of dollars in difference of like that 5 minutes?
I
Like,
wonder
I'm
that
dying to know.
too. Yeah, I wonder that too. Like, I just, to me, it doesn't seem like it would matter. I know it's like, well, if you add 5 minutes here, then are you going to add another 5 minutes and another five, and it's just going to keep going. And it's like, well, probably not. Like, we could probably just say, yeah, 10 minutes is good. We'll keep it there. Um, or here's another thing. If they're really worried about getting all the age groupers to start, add one, you know how they go like three at a time or four at a time? Add
Mhm.
one more person at a time,
Mm,
right? That'll
yeah.
probably cut it down by 5 minutes right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I never thought of that. Huh.
So yeah, that's just me. I like to see just fair racing, men and women, right? Like we like to just
Yeah.
see fair racing. And the other thing is when the lead woman has motos around them. They're getting they're getting moto pace, so they are coming up on some of the men,
Mm,
and that's why when they catch them, a lot of those men can just hop in there, even though they've made up a couple minutes on them or something, right? Because it's that draft and stuff. But as of now, that's just the reality of it, and it doesn't look good on TV.
mm-hmm.
It isn't good for the sport. I, you know, like we just want to see fair racing, and like you said at Kona, we want to see fair racing in Kona. This is paramount now that we take care of this, or Ironman
Yeah.
takes care of this before we have men and women racing the same day on the same course in Kona.
Yeah. With another potentially rough swim, definitely an ocean swim. With, I don't know what the beginning of biking Kona is like. I know is it flattish at the beginning? It's generally fast,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's
So,
fast.
yeah. There is like a sort of this looming deadline that we need to figure this out by. Or that, like I
Yeah,
said, Ironman needs to figure this out by.
and what you said about the mechanical things is like, oh, if you get a mechanical, what happens? Well, this if this is a professional sport, we should have mechanics that can get to you. This is on Ironman that get to you
Mm,
before the women come through, right, and get you fixed up and get you going. Do a wheel
mm.
swap or something. But yeah, but I don't think a mechanical like that happens. That stuff happens, and that's not an excuse for interfering in the women's race.
Yeah. Hey, how just not even how far behind Sam Long was Lucy Charles when she started?
That is a good question. Um, so coming out of the water, I'm not going to do the math with
Right,
the
she did
transition.
25 and change.
Yeah, so Sam swam 27:50, so that would have put
Oh,
her
so
about yeah 2.5 ish minutes.
okay. Just curious because then you can make the argument like even like the men's winner could have been
Yeah,
interfering with the women's race. Almost.
yeah. So she came out of the water ahead of basically 10 men.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Okay.
two of those two of those men actually caught me on the run. If you wanna, so they still
Oh.
finished like they finished ahead of me. They did end up finishing technically ahead of Lucy, but
You're saying they
yeah,
interfered in the women's race, but e- eventually beat
I
her, but because they're at the wrong
yeah
place at the wrong time, they were still
yeah
interfering, even though they beat her.
possibly,
Yeah.
but they outbiked her by like it was quite handedly. They outbiked her by like 6 minutes or something. Like they didn't hang around. They just
Right.
went right by her.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I don't know who the men were that biked with Lisa, and I don't want to speculate or call them out because they're well within the rules. Um, and it's, it's not their fault. It's not on them. This is just how the rules are.
Yeah.
All right. So next.
Pass or smash, pass or smash. Tell me now, don't make it last. Pass or smash, pass or smash. This moment's gone, so make it fast.
All right, if you're still with us after
Our
that.
pass or smash segment.
All right, do you want to alternate here?
Yeah, I think you have a few more than I've got. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's alternate.
Okay, I will start. Actually, no, you start because you'll have more than me, so it's better if you start.
Okay. I might end up bookending yours. Okay, pass or smash, having your stuff in a plastic baggie in T2. Like your sunglasses, your nutrition, watch.
I would say, well, for Ironman, it's always in a plastic baggie. But
Oh.
I would say smash. This is a good. I've never done it. I usually elastic band my gels and my maple syrup flask, and just have everything in my hat, and then I just run out with my hat and then distribute it. But this is a good idea. I would say smash for sure.
So I thought this was a brilliant idea when I heard about it several times, and I know a lot of pro women do it, but the first and last time I did it was at Michigan last year, and I I always have my precision tablets, electrolyte tablets, one gel, my watch, sunglasses, and Omius headband. So I have a lot that's in there, but as I was running out, and maybe this is just one time, everything was like popping out of it. So I had to like stop because I guess I was just running too
Oh yeah.
furiously, and I had it like left open, and so I had to like I remember stopping and like grabbing it and grabbing stuff off the floor, off the ground. So I don't know. I feel like it sounds good, but maybe I just misexecuted, but I pass for now.
Huh. I didn't think about it all going flying.
Yeah.
But I might still try it, to be honest, because I kind of like the idea. Because that's what happens with my hat, is when I'm reaching in to get stuff, everything's going everywhere.
Things are popping out too, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more
So,
careful when it's not in a bag. I feel like it's in a bag and I was just not careful. But
mhm.
all right, what's your next one?
All right. Only riding the TT bike. So this is for non-drafting triathletes specifically. Only riding the TT bike for structured and or hard workouts.
And not using it for an easy ride or a long
Correct.
ride?
Yeah, if you're doing just like long base miles or easy rides, no TT bike.
Okay, pass. I think you need to spend that long amount of time, your 5 hour rides, 6 hour rides in the TT bike, and like as in much in position as you can. Yeah, and I
Okay.
say that as someone who loves a road bike. I have a gravel bike, I have a mountain bike. I like riding all the bikes. I think variety's good in general, but you have to get that long ride in on the TT.
Okay. So you're looking at it like your long ride is just 6 hours in the saddle. Like it's not like a structured long ride.
I will every 1 out of 3 of my long rides are non-structured. Like
Okay.
and include a coffee stop for sure, because like you gotta enjoy the training. You can't just have
Yeah.
every long ride being like structured. That's not
But you
fun.
still got to do it on, you still got to suffer on the TT bike.
Yeah, you still gotta do it on a TT bike because it's an issue of like for me like your neck muscles, making sure those are good for that long.
Hmm.
Your like shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
my TT bike also, I ride 155 cranks versus my road bike's like 165. So
okay.
there's a bit of a muscular demand there.
So personally, for me, so I agree with everything you said. But for the sake of the show, I'm gonna say smash. For me, like if there's no structure to it, I'm not riding the time trial bike.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is this more
I'm
comfortable?
getting off it. Yeah, it's just more comfortable, more enjoyable. I feel like I've spent so much time in the time trial position in my career or time riding the bike that I'm fine. I don't need to. I'd much rather just go and enjoy myself on usually it's my gravel bike, but if I'm doing like a camp or something, it'll be my road bike.
Yeah, I find that I just get kind of antsy after like 4 hours on the TT bike. And it could be just this time of year. I've only done 70.3. But before Placid, I want to get in at least 2 more mega rides on the TT.
Okay. So is Placid going to be your second Ironman?
Yeah.
Wow. So two
Yeah.
hilly Ironmans, eh? Both of your Ironmans are going to be like very hilly.
I considered Placid for my first one, but I thought it was too hilly. And I did Mont Tremblant instead, for those who don't know. I feel like Placid's gonna be like, I like that it's hillier on the bike, but I'm like, the run, I actually still feel pretty daunted by the Placid run.
By the hilly
But
run. Yeah, that's the thing about Tremblant was like there's a couple hills on the run, but it's not awful.
yeah, you say it so much better than I do as a Canadian. I can't say Tremblant without sounding very American.
Mont Tremblant is how you say it.
Yeah. I mean,
So
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I'm so fortunate though that I can drive to both of these races, and so can you, makes a ton of difference. So my parents can come also. So it's kind of like, at this point, I still can't imagine like having to fly to like an Ironman and not having support.
Yeah. It's like you feel like you can't bring everything you need when you fly to an Ironman. Yeah. But I will say the hilly bike, so Brazil, I was so looking forward to the hills every time they'd come around just so you can like get at an arrow. So like sometimes
Yeah.
it's nice to have a hilly Ironman because like
Oh,
you're
screw that. I'm
still
going to
just
start running my
going
road bike
forward.
for my long rides then.
Yeah.
I don't have to be an arrow for 6 hours straight.
No, well, I sure hope you're not riding for 6 hours in your Ironman, Nicole.
But that's a good point. I didn't think about that. The relief
Nice,
of a hilly
nice
course.
variety. But I
Yeah.
don't like the hills to be there when I show up on the run.
I do think it'll benefit me in the long run, right? Because anyone can fake a flat 26.2.
Yeah, honestly though,
No,
like
I had to,
yeah,
I'm getting way off topic, but that's the last thing I'll say about my choice in Ironman. I had to seek out a hilly long run last week. So I ended up going to the mountain running national championships. These people, like, this was to select the US team for the World Mountain Running Championships. And it took about, I think it was a 9 mile race, and they just go up a ski mountain. And then they come down to the other side. It's sort of technical, and then they do it again. So anyway, I was out by, this was in Lake Sunapee, and I did a run afterward, and it was, uh, I don't recall the total elevation, but it was super hilly run, and I was like embracing it so much because where I live at sea level, I live a half mile from the ocean, so all my runs are so flat. So I was like very much embracing that.
yeah. I'm surprised they didn't live stream it this year. Usually I watch this race.
Oh, they did. Yeah, you just
Oh,
missed
did
it.
they? Oh,
Yeah.
I must have. It's not
Yeah.
something I go and seek to watch. It just always happens to pop up somewhere and I watch it.
Yeah, they had like the gator, I guess, out there for the live broadcast. That was cool to see.
Okay. Yeah, and they fly like it's one thing to go up, but coming down is crazy watching them.
Yeah, I watched an uphill and then I went stationed myself at a downhill. But can you imagine going from like an 11-minute miles really good uphill to then having to fly down at low 5-minute mile pace?
It's
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
I
But I think that was for the women. I think the men probably were sub 5.
Yeah, they're crazy. One of the YouTubers I follow did Worlds the one year,
Who's
and
that?
he filmed it. I think it was Seth James Demore. I think he was the one
Oh,
that did it.
oh,
But I think
nice.
Ali O did it. No, Ali O and Ali Ostrander did it last year, I think.
Yes, like for Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I met Alio this year at this at the race because I'm a big
Okay.
fan.
Yeah. I watch all her YouTube stuff.
Oh, so you saw me? Did you see me in her YouTube?
I haven't seen the most recent one because I haven't been on the
Okay.
trainer.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I watch all my YouTube on the trainer, so I have to like make a point to watch it. Go watch the Ali. I just totally spoiled it, but go watch the Alio national YouTube.
Nice. One of my buddies popped up in her video like a couple months ago. She was racing a half in Arizona and she was
Oh yeah,
running
Mesa
in her
have.
pack. Yeah, in her pack I was like, "That's Jonathan." So,
Awesome.
yeah. All right. Next one. What do you got?
Um, Putting on sunblock in T1 of a half or a full iron on a sunny day.
T1. Um I don't believe in sunblock. At least that's what I tell my wife.
Nick.
Uh, but I would actually say, if you can do it, if there's volunteers there that are doing it too, like totally smash for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's not volunteers putting it on, I won't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I think I might use like I recalled note seeing where I mostly I would smash this because I'm very like sun aware. But I think I might actually bring like a little packet in case I don't see the people at as I exit T1 or T2.
Yeah,
I'll figure this out.
that's smart. I actually haven't done an Ironman. Texas would have been had I done that run, the first one that was like really like this UV index like high.
Mm,
Because the only hot Ironmans I've done haven't been like particularly high UV index.
yeah.
So I've never had to worry about it.
So I will say I was riding with Taylor Nib last summer, no biggie. Um, and she told me that, and this is different because it's Kona, very sunny, right? But she told me that if you don't stay on top of the sunblock and you start to burn during the bike, that your internal body temp is will be higher and you will just like bake on the run.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was very diligent about that
So how do
for
you
what it's
apply that
worth.
when you're biking? I've never even thought of that.
Right, yeah. I don't know if she put it on while she was biking or if it was like T1 thing, but she was
Hmm.
on top of it.
Yeah, I guess now that we have sleeves, it's a little better for us probably, but
Yeah,
definitely get the face and the neck. Yeah.
yeah. All right, what's your next one?
Okay. Caffeine pills pre-race.
Oh, I say pass. It just like freaks me out. And
Yeah.
yeah, I get it through. I always drink coffee and I always take a caffeinated gel beforehand.
I say smash.
Oh yeah? How much
Yeah.
do you take?
So I'll do a coffee, one caffeine pill, 100 milligrams. and a caffeinated gel. So that's about 300 milligrams.
And then do you keep
280 maybe.
how much do you keep taking caffeine during a half or a full?
So I'll take one. I will for sure take one as my last gel on the bike, and then on the run I'll take one. I'll take about 2 for the Ironman run. Maybe 2 on a 70.3 also. I'll do like maybe my first one will be caffeinated and then my last one will be caffeinated. And then I will, if I find myself in a bad mood, I'll take caffeine because it puts me in a good mood.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
And if I'm in a good mood, that's when I do my best Ironman racing. Is when I'm in a
Yeah.
good mood. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'd say like every third gel or so for me is caffeinated. And I kind of like the flexibility so that if I'm running through an aid station and they're not holding up the white or the black, I just grab whatever's available. And then I
Yeah.
kind of log it in my brain, which doesn't work quite well, but I'm like, oh, make sure you take the other color next time. I always forget
Yeah.
which color is which. Like I know right now, but in a race, it's always very. Oh wait, which one was that?
Yeah. But it's always the bitter tasting one.
Oh yeah, you always can taste it. Yeah,
Yeah.
tastes like cat urine.
Yeah.
All right. Cold weather run vests. So like pretend it's winter, and people wear like vests while running. Pass or smash?
Like you're talking about vests with no sleeves?
That's what a vest is.
Yeah. Well, Brits call
Not a
it
hydration
like,
vest. I'm talking about
okay.
like apparel vest.
Yeah. For running,
Yeah.
pass. I still don't understand the purpose of them.
Me neither. That was my easy pass for the day. And
Yeah.
I guess they can look cute, but I don't. But I wear one cycling and I don't think twice about it. But that's because of the wind, right? Because you want to
Yeah.
block the wind.
Yeah.
Surface area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny. It just like makes sense on like when you're biking, but when you're running, you're like, this is ridiculous. Like, what does this even do?
Yeah. I'm actually when I'm running, I'm always like hot. I get like hot like mid back is like where I get warm first. So I could not imagine an extra layer on that. But yeah, I'm never
Yeah.
running and I'm like, "Oh, my arms are so hot, but my or like wait, opposite. Oh, my chest is cold, but my arms are hot."
Yeah, I know. I know.
All right, that's an easy one. Your turn.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually going to steal one from you.
Ooh.
Clipping your toenails and or your fingernails. I guess for women they like to get their nails done, but
Uh-huh.
maybe clipping your toenails like the night before the race.
Oh, the night before. I thought you were gonna say just in general, just clipping your
Oh.
toenails.
No, please do clip your toenails in general because I have more than one patient who have lost their legs because their toenail overgrew, created a wound in one of their toes, got infected, and they had to cut their leg off because they can't feel it.
That's. Oh, I see. Oh my gosh, that's wild. The night before the race, I guess smash.
Yeah, but
I
that maybe doesn't have to be the night before, but you know when you're doing like your pre-shave and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of it's part of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I say
yeah.
smash.
I think smash too doesn't need much explanation.
Um, let's. Oh, okay. This is my final pass or smash. Stepping into your bib in T2, instead of like clipping it.
I would say mostly pass, but what I do is I pull it over myself as I'm running. Like pull it over the top.
So you have it already clipped when you arrive at it, but you pull it over.
Yeah.
Okay. I always I always clip mine on as I'm running, but it's again, it's I'm back to this issue where I have too much to carry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that one
So,
time, like, was it Alistair who got a penalty because he didn't have his bib clipped in time at some random Ironman event in Europe,
oh.
I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
supposed to have it on for the run, right? So if you're still like fumbling with it, which at St. George, I was fumbling with mine for like a half mile. Like it was in my hand, I was like trying to like show like I have it. But I
Yeah.
just like I eventually I was carrying too much and I came to a complete stop and like clipped it and then I kept going. So
Oh,
dumb.
wow.
Yeah.
So all like you said, like hands full, too much stuff. All what I'll do is I'll just put it around, like either put it around my neck and through one arm, or just have it around my neck,
Oh, I
and
like
then I'll have
that.
everything and start
I
putting everything
like that.
away, and then bring it down.
I'm stealing that.
So I took that. I don't know who I took that from, but definitely not an original idea.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah. So
Take
it's
that out.
a
I don't
lot
want any of
easier.
my competitors doing that. Don't let's not include this.
Yeah. But I also think bib numbers on the run are stupid.
Mm.
Like, just give us the numbers on our, like, give us the tattoos or something.
You want to bring tattoos back?
Yeah, bring the tattoos back, and get rid of the bib numbers. Like, we don't need all those bib numbers going in the garbage.
Huh. I guess what do they need? They need them for what? Like a you could do like a pollution penalty, littering. I don't know why I said pollution. Littering
Yeah,
penalty.
yeah,
Like,
like
and it used to be for photos, but now the photos are so good with the
yeah, the
face
facial
recognition.
recognition. I know,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think it's. I mean, I'm sure the tattoos cause more waste than the bibs,
Mm.
but I
You know
hate
what?
wearing my run bibs.
There are a couple. If you have a multi-loop course though, on the run, there is. I've seen a camera at Michigan. They had a camera set up at like the furthest point away. I guess because they couldn't get a timing mat there, but I have seen people like manually counting.
Yeah, they had
Have
that
you
in
seen
Brazil
that?
at every U-turn. They had someone like marking down,
Yeah.
yeah, the numbers. But if you have the number on, you can just like show them. I
I've
think
had
at
it,
least. Sorry.
yeah, I've had them like completely rub off just in the swim though. Like my wetsuit grabbed it. I've had them like there are varying quality, but
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't know. I think just Sharpie is
Yeah,
probably the
yeah,
best.
Sharpie. But I just think at least the pros, like it just doesn't look good. Like race bibs just don't look good, and they're
Hmm.
not practical for racing. So if we can do the tattoos that stay on mostly, and if you're getting a penalty, just be honest with the ref what your number is on the run, because they can just bike next to you and ask you.
Yeah, I have an idea. Just like in professional sports leagues, we all have a number, like a jersey number.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah,
like
and we can
given a
repeat.
number.
Like you could have two 24s in the same race because it's unlikely. Like you can probably differentiate like
Yeah,
RTS 24 versus another, but right?
yeah. Or they should at least T100 should try that, like like how in
Oh
NASCAR
yeah.
and all that they have it, right?
Yeah.
So they should at least try that. Same number. Yeah, and then whoever's the wild card just slots into that number maybe or something.
Yeah, but it's
But
like it's on your it's like embroidered
yeah,
on your kit. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And you could do a patch, I think,
yeah.
for
Maybe
if you're a wild
everyone
card.
who so Ironman, when you get your pro license every year, they give you a number. Put that on your on your jersey or on your kit,
Yeah.
and
And if
then
you're
and
really good, you
then
could pick it.
Yeah, exactly.
We could retire some.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something here, Nicole.
I know. I just thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. But all right, we just rolled over an hour. So
Okay.
we are going to sign out here. Nicole, thank you for joining me. I think the episode was pretty good. If you guys are still on, still listening, you had fun, you enjoyed it, let us know that you like Nicole on the show. Let Nick know. Send him tons of DMs on Instagram. He's more than happy to hear that. Also, share this show with all your triathlon friends, whether it's your tri club or just your weekend warrior buddy. Let them know. Maybe at work, you got tons of triathletes, runners, swimmers, or bikers. Let them know about the podcast. And just random people at work, you can let them know too. Maybe they'll listen.
If you have any direct reports at work, you just tell them that they better listen or else their rating will be affected.
Exactly. Well, Nicole, until next time, peace.
Peace. Oh.
I got ish to do, flying through the sky in my parachute, dancing on the couch. I got ish to do, flying through the sky in my parachute, dancing on the couch like I'm Tommy Cruise on a one-man mission trying to see it through.